Before we start, I'm giving a heads up to not attack anyone mentioned or featured in this video. It's only meant to bring awareness about the current situation surrounding Project Wingman. So don't bring torches and pitchforks because of the stuff going on behind the scenes. Enjoy. Released in 2020 by an indie studio called Sector D2 and published by Humble Games, Project Wingman is a great passion project and a love letter to any fans of arcade flight simulators, which includes the likes of Ace Combat. The game used to be one of my favorite titles for years, while I also made content based around it. I've pretty much have beaten the campaign a couple of times and got all of the achievements, but there's something that's been missing, which is some sort of an elephant in the room that needs to be addressed. I'm aware that my previous video was pretty much rushed and too heavy-handed. I had no choice but to take it down and make a replacement that's meant to be more concise as possible. Yes, I'm totally not being held at gunpoint by someone to make this video, including the old one that I took down. And there's a couple of mishaps during the editing of the latter, which I have yet to address them. And also, I don't want to be dragged in any kind of drama since I'm just a nobody who's minding his own business rather than being, let's say, your average Roblox content creator. Without further ado, I'll try to keep this video as short and simple as possible. And let's start with the following. Due to its nature as an indie title, Project Wingman doesn't have much manpower to be worked on, since it's made by a bunch of guys who wanted to make their own Ace-like game while Skies Unknown was in development, even though the latter was released earlier. Not counting mods made by the community, the updates that Project Wingman has received were very inconsistent, and the Xbox One release owners had the worst treatment due to the game receiving a shoddy port that has framerate issues, more glitches than the PC version, and has a chance of getting stuck in the loading screen. With the PlayStation 5 port's arrival, it's safe to assume that the Xbox One port is pretty much abandoned. I've also heard that the updates 2.0 seem to have introduced some issues, like volumetric clouds looking quite pixelated even at higher graphical settings, while the optimization don't seem to have improved that much. Talk about the placebo effect. Plus, it was promised that the unfinished aircrafts like the G-10, SK-47 and RF-1 would have been fully destroyed and re-implemented back to the game without the need of mods. As of 2026, there was no progress whatsoever. To this day, the only aircraft that has been fully restored was the FC-2M. While the UF-22 from the Conquest mode demo has been restored, it's only available as a replacement for the VX-23 from the base game. This eventually led to burnout and frustration from a couple of Project Wingman fans out there, as they grew concerned not only about the art book, but also regarding the current state of the game itself. Not to mention that there was some infighting on whether the game was a fully finished product. Let's hope the modders will be able to restore it even before the art book was released. Oh, and speaking of the art book, now here's the elephant in the room that needs to be addressed. The art book. Excuse me for any potential inconsistencies, since the evidence may appear to be lost at the time or not 100% correct. Back in 2012, Matthew Nguyen, aka FlyAwayNow, has announced that an official digital art book is in progress while featuring a plethora of commissioned artists in addition to some extra info about game's lore. It's meant to be at least 237 pages long, while featuring some short stories. It's also meant to be released for Kickstarter backers first, before becoming publicly available. However, there were numerous delays over the years, which implies that the art book is pretty much in development hell. This might result in some of the backers thinking that they have been scammed. Sure that the info may have been already finished while the art book's development won't be the same as Duke Nukem Forever, but the concern still persists to this day. While I've been editing this video, I found out that a fan-made art book by Amanda C was already released, which should fill the void for now, and I recommend to check that out if that scratches a niche for you. If I recall correctly, there's an ongoing controversy surrounding the developers, including the relighter for the lack of updates and the constant delay of the art book. Not counting the plans to improve Conquest mode, aside from an overhaul mod being already a thing, fans have pointed out that Project Wingman is slowly being abandoned in favor of other upcoming Ace-like titles such as Project Red Sun, Super Maneuver, Delivery Must Complete, and Sky's Edge. No 2.0 update for the Xbox One port, no mission editor, no art book in the horizon, and still suffering from bugs to this day. It's very heartbreaking to see the game being neglected. With a handful of modders trying their best to improve the game as possible, it's a matter of time until Project Wingman gets finalized, with both of the unfinished content fully restored and the art book being released in one way or the other. And on top of that, there have been some damage control in the official subreddit, where certain posts that brought up the issues about the game and its community to light have been erased from the face of the earth. In the end, Project Wingman remains as the underdog of the arcade flight sim genre. While it's still an enjoyable and unforgettable experience with some great presentation, solid campaign, fun gameplay, and decent aircraft roster, but it leaves me with rather mixed feelings due to it being hampered by several issues as a result of the developers' neglect, even if they had more than enough time to work on it. The bugs and performance issues still persist, especially in the Xbox One port. The achievements remain broken without relying on troubleshooting, and the presumably broken promises don't help either. With Ace Combat 8 being scheduled for its 2026 release, the former's future is rather uncertain. Even though I still recommend playing it if you're hurting for the upcoming AC title, I believe that Project Wingman deserves better. It needs another update to iron out these issues to make it fully polished. And hopefully, if the mission editor gets included later on, we'll probably have the most definitive experience of the game with improved mod support while adding more longevity. In a nutshell, I'd appreciate if Sector D2 just focused one more time, and Matthew to finally finish the art book to satisfy not only the Kickstarter backers, but also the Project Wingman community as a whole, while ending on a decent note. Even though the current situation is still pretty abysmal in almost the same extent as the ill-fated Vector Thrust, but there will be light at the end of the tunnel by any chance. Anyways, I'd love to hear your guys' thoughts on this and my concerns about the game. Feel free to let me know down in the comments. This is Cody Bunny signing off once again.